Hi. I read a book by Canadian adventurer Colin Angus, and he detailed his literally harrowing journey from source to sea for the Amazon River in a book called Amazon Extreme. And if you had not known that the author survived the ordeal by writing the book, you would have not have believed that he actually made it. And I think that that book is kind of like a metaphor for life. If we knew what was coming, we would literally not even take a shot some of the time. And I say that that waterfalls, they always start out as a trickle, and they build in their intensity and their enormity until they cascade down the mighty cliff and become a natural spectacle. And for me, I think that grief and loss and pain, all of those things started out like a trickle. And eventually they grew and grew and grew until they were raging and enormous and difficult to contain or control. And sometimes you just have to surrender to the natural state of things. And in reality, we can't know what's coming, and we can't stop the pain, and we can't prevent the hurt, and we can't avoid the loss. And all of this is a part of life. It's a reality that we all face. For me, I've had so many people who've ended up in peril, and knowing that someone you love is going through a life-threatening situation is heartbreaking. I'm a sensitive soul. Sometimes I don't even think I'm going to survive it when someone I love is hurting, or they're hurt, or they're sick. And in the past few years, I've had 6 people pass away that I cared about. 2 of them were family, 1 was a close friend, and 3 were good friends and acquaintances or colleagues. And in that same time, I had another multitude of people who became ill with life-threatening illnesses, or who had an illness that took them to the brink of literal survival over the course of a short period of time, where you just didn't know what the outcome would be. And all of these things are heartbreaking, and they're difficult to process. And for me, the ball of pain and sorrow and loss that I was feeling was impossible to pull apart. It happened gradually, so I didn't even know that I had this growing nucleus of distress that I eventually wouldn't be able to process easily, and that I would need to spend a lot of time dismantling and a lot of time trying to understand and process. But I've said that grief is like a rubber band ball, and especially a series of losses or a series of challenges, it just keeps wrapping itself around itself until it becomes a ball. And you don't even know where one part of it starts and the other ends, and you don't know how to get through it or get out of it, because literally you just have to start like pulling the bands off of the ball one by one until you start getting below the surface to figure out what's even wrong or what you might need to change or fix. But there is a way through it. And although it takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy and a lot of soul searching, sometimes a lot of help, and admitting that you need help and being vulnerable, there is a way through this ball. And you just have to keep pulling on the elastics until you feel like you're set free. So I hope in sharing some of my experiences about pain and loss, and just the feeling of isolation that comes with some of those experiences, that this has been helpful. And I think we can be in it together as we experience difficult things in difficult times. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will look forward to seeing you again next time.